My back was against the wall all my life. From the time I was 3 years old, my first memory is being homeless.
This man made it to the NFL even though he was homeless. How does someone go from sleeping on floors to becoming a first-round draft pick?
16 years old, and that's the first time pretty much you can remember having your own bed. Is that the way life was?
I mean, of course it was tough for me. Where I'm from, a lot of people don't make it out.
From being abandoned by his parents to winning a Super Bowl.
It's unbelievable. It's something you dream about as a kid. Man.
You might think you know Michael Oher from the movie The Blind Side, but that was just Hollywood.
You don't know anything about me. I mean, you might see something on TV and think you know, but you got to get to know me as a person. You'll never know a person by watching a movie or reading a book.
This is the real story. Michael Oher was the last person you'd expect to be invisible, a massive kid growing up in the heart of Memphis. But from the start, life gave him nothing. His dad wasn't around. His mom was addicted to crack. And by the time he was 7, he was bouncing in and out of foster homes like lost luggage.
We were basically always by ourselves. I took care of myself most of the time.
No one checked on him. No one made sure he ate. No one cared if he showed up to school. Most nights, he didn't even know where he'd sleep. A friend's couch, a stranger's floor. Sometimes, nothing at all. He was just a kid drifting through the system, and the world acted like he didn't exist. But somehow, Michael kept moving. Michael never asked for help, and he never expected anyone to care. But then came Big Tony. He was the dad of one of Michael's friends, and after losing his own mom, he promised to get both boys into a better school.
Well, he was a good kid. He wasn't no trouble kid, nothing like that. You know, he was real quiet, you know, and basically stayed to himself.
So he walked Michael into Briarcrest Christian and asked them to give him a shot. Michael didn't have the grades, didn't have a home, but he had size.
The smartest kid, wasn't the most talented athletically, but I just wanted it, and I was disciplined and consistent.
And that was enough to get him in. He joined the football team. Coaches saw the potential, but after practice, he still had nowhere to go. Then one night, Leanne Toohey spotted him walking alone in the cold. No coat, no plan. She brought him home. One night turned into a few, then weeks, then months. Eventually, he became part of the family.
All fell madly in love with him within probably 48 hours, and he was just an instant part of this family. And
for the first time, he had a bed, a roof, stability, and Michael wasn't about to waste it.
I was unstoppable and felt like no matter what, you know, I was going to win the battle.
Michael didn't have the grades to walk into a top football program, so he worked. Tutors, late nights, extra tests, just to become eligible. He finally made it and committed to Ole Miss. But even then, the pressure didn't stop. The NCAA launched an investigation. Reporters questioned if the Tooheys had pushed him to their alma mater. Some said he was being used.
He's not going to have the ability to bargain for himself or even make medical decisions for himself.
Michael ignored the noise. He wasn't there to make headlines. He was there to prove he belonged. Every snap mattered. Every block counted. Because for him, college wasn't a stepping stone. It was survival, just in a different uniform. Michael finally had his shot at big-time football. He was playing at Ole Miss. He had the size, the skill, the spotlight. But none of it came easy. From day one, there were questions. Reporters wondered if the Tooheys had steered him there for the wrong reasons. The NCAA opened an investigation. People talked like he was a puppet, not a player. And on the field, the expectations were even higher. Scouts watched every snap. Analysts picked apart his game. Some said he was a project. Others didn't think he'd last. Michael kept his head down. He trained, he studied film, he blocked like every play meant everything. Because it did. He wasn't just trying to protect a quarterback. He was trying to protect the only future he'd ever had.
From the time I was 3 years old, my first memory is being homeless.
By his junior year, Michael was dominating the SEC. He started every game, shut down edge rushers, kept quarterbacks clean, but even then, scouts still weren't sold. Some called him raw, others said he was just hype. A good story, not a real prospect. Michael didn't argue, he just kept blocking. Every snap was a statement, every hit was a reminder. He wasn't here because of a headline. He was here because he earned it. And slowly, people started noticing. Michael entered the 2009 NFL Draft, but the doubts didn't leave. Too stiff, too quiet, too much baggage. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, just a left tackle who refused to break. Pick after pick, his name didn't come up until
The Baltimore Ravens select Michael Orr, offensive tackle, Mississippi.
with the 23rd pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens selected Michael Oher. He didn't celebrate loud. He didn't make a scene. He sat with his family and let it all hit him because they said he wouldn't make it. But Michael wasn't there to prove them wrong. He was there to prove himself right.
If I get the opportunity to start, I'm going to take care of my kids.
Michael didn't walk into the league like a star. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, but he showed up and he held the line. Rookie year, he started all 16 games, took the Ravens to the playoffs, earned respect without saying a word. Season after season, he kept doing his job. No highlight reels, no trash talk, just grit, just results. And in 2013, it paid off. Michael Oher, once forgotten, once homeless, became a Super Bowl champion.
Through the journey we've had this year, and just to win a championship is unbelievable.
He didn't spike the ball. He didn't need to. Because for Michael, it was never about the spotlight. It was about doing what he'd always done. Protect the blind side and never let anything through. Speaking of the blind side, it made millions, won awards, turned Michael Oher into a household name.
Michael Orr in studio today. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
But it didn't tell the whole story. The film showed a quiet kid, a charity case, someone who didn't understand football until a family came along and taught him. That wasn't Michael. He already knew how to play. He already had the instincts. What he needed wasn't a lesson, it was a chance. And there was one more thing the movie left out. The adoption? It never happened. In 2023, Michael filed to end a conservatorship he says he was misled into signing at 18. The Tuohys never adopted him, but they were given legal control over his name, his finances, and his future. He didn't come forward for revenge. He came forward because the story never felt like his. And now, after all these years, he's finally telling it himself.
Finally, to put some things in there to let people know a little bit more about my story.
Making the league wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Michael Oher was never just a story. He was built for more. On the field, off the field, through every block and every headline, he protected others while fighting to protect himself. And now, he's finally telling the story they never let him own.